The girl is in charge of overseeing the most dangerous prison in the galaxy. Yet she remains unaware that she is deeply loved by these very prisoners. Everyone believes the beastmen, on the verge of collapse, are incapable of reason. But the fluffy ones worship her like a goddess. There's the gentle and steady white lion general, who pleads with her every day to look at him more. There's the proud bird of paradise, secretly performing a courtship dance. There's the aloof Black Panther prince, inviting her to watch him do a backflip. There's the Sundeer Palace's cat young master, acting cute and begging for head pats. And then there's the cunning nine-tailed fox pirate leader, offering his tails with a gentle smile to win her favor, because she's the only one who genuinely reaches out to them. The previous wardens couldn't handle the pressure and fled in a hurry. But she's utterly flustered by the fluffball's competition for her attention. Yet back when Kin first became the warden, she immediately faced the White Lion General's psychic breakdown in cell number 1. His once deep blue eyes were now bloodshot with crimson, his body slamming relentlessly against the reinforced door. His white Mu Feng from cell No. 2 turned away, his eyes slightly red. Unable to bear the sight, He Cheng once fought thousands of insectoids alone, saving tens of thousands of refugees. Not only was he Mu Feng's most revered figure, but also the idol of countless females. And now, no one could save him. Left to await death in this prison cell. As the sound of Han pounding against the protective barrier grew increasingly muffled, it seemed even the faintest among them understood Han wouldn't last much longer. Just as everyone sank into a sorrowful, despondent atmosphere, Kin was in her office flipping through the warden's manual. Yet the densely packed words acted like hypnotic symbols. And before she knew it, her eyes closed. At that very moment, a bluish-green mushroom sprouted from the top of her head. It swayed its body twice, then nimbly hopped onto the ground, slid effortlessly through the door, and bounced cheerfully toward the depths of the prison, eventually landing on the White Lion's head and burrowing inside. After a dozen or so seconds, the mushroom appeared to have grown considerably, its color shifting to red. Its body wobbled as if drunk, before tiny specks of fluorescent light began to emerge from it, slowly merging into the White Lion's body. At the same time, the frenzied White Lion's crimson eyes gradually regained a hint of clarity. But whether it was due to excessive blood loss or not, Han only felt dizzy and lightheaded. And in the blink of an eye, he collapsed to the ground. The red mushroom was flung several meters away, dizzily shaking its mushroom head. Then, having concealed its deeds and vanished without a trace, quickly slipped through the wall and disappeared. The sound of the White Lion's body hitting the ground was like a dull thunderclap, echoing through the prison. Jang Shia, in cell number 4, was so terrified his fur stood on end. Unable to resist covering his eyes and shouting for Mufeng, "How's Han?" He didn't dare look. But given the extent of Han's mental collapse, the tragedy was almost predictable. The Black Panther and the nine-tailed fox remained calm, but their ears pricked up slightly at Jang Shia's words. Silently, they watched Han's condition. Mu Feng hadn't dared to look too closely earlier. Now, his gaze was fixed on the opposite cell. Bai Shi lay on the ground. He shouted anxiously, "General He. Can you hear me?" He called out several times, frantic with worry. But there was no response. Immediately, his eyes darted toward the robot curled up in the corner, rolled into a ball. "Butler number 1. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and treat General He's injuries." Upon receiving the command, No. 1 rolled swiftly to Bai Shi's side and nudged him lightly. Seeing no reaction from him, the mental state has temporarily stabilized. Only then did it return to its original form. The massive White Lion was placed into the recovery pod in the room. "Number 1, is Major General He still alive?" Mu Feng looked at the blood covering the floor. He struggled to force out those words. It was the first time he had seen Han in such a wretched state. He didn't even dare to hear the answer. No. He's eyes flickered slightly. His cold, mechanical voice carried a trace of human-like relief. The Major General's injuries are primarily severe surface wounds. He's still alive. Hearing this, the prison cell, where the atmosphere had nearly frozen, finally released. A few sighs of relief. Mufeng's tightly furrowed brows relaxed. But he also knew, given the severity of Major General He's mental breakdown, death was only a matter of time. At this thought, his mood darkened again. Watching number 1 begin cleaning the cell, he pressed the red button by the door. In the warden's office, Qin was sound asleep. Suddenly, a piercing alarm rang out. She jolted upright instantly. "Warden, please note, cell No. 2 has pressed the emergency button. Please arrive within 5 minutes." Qin's mind snapped awake. She hurried toward the prison block. As she walked, she recalled the previous warden's parting warning. "You must remember, if they ask you to open the prison doors, never do it." But when she finally reached the depths of the prison, the sight in cell No. 1 startled her. The scene inside was one of utter devastation. The butler robots were busy with repairs. Bloodstains remained uncleaned on the floor and furniture. Qin peeked inside, but the white lion was nowhere in sight. Surely, on her very first day on the job, someone hadn't already escaped, had they? Suppressing her unease, she headed toward cell No. 2. "Sir? Is there something you need?" Yet the moment her eyes landed on him, a flicker of stunned admiration flashed in her gaze. She hadn't expected Mufeng to be capable of taking human form. Even in his avian beast form, his looks were striking. But as a human, his features were even more exquisite than a woman's. Sharp phoenix eyes paired with fiery orange-red hair radiated arrogance and pride. Only now, those eyes also held a layer of icy disdain. Qin snapped back to attention, though confusion lingered in her mind. Not long ago, when she delivered his meal, he'd merely been ill-tempered. So why was Mufeng now looking at her with the same infatuated stupor as those females from the Empire? His disgust deepened. "Go open cell No. 1. Help the number 1 robot butler clean up." Qin nearly laughed in disbelief. Given the state of cell No. 1, it was highly likely that Han had suffered a psychic breakdown. Entering now would be suicide. But it was still her first day, so she forced a polite smile. "My apologies, Lord Mu. We generally don't allow opening the prison cell doors." Mufeng obviously knew this, but he still couldn't help directing his resentment toward the Empire onto the female in front of him. Gritting his teeth, he threw the unfinished meal box out through the window. "How about this then? Is it too much to ask you to clean up outside the cell?" Qin was so angry her teeth itched. But then an image suddenly popped into her mind. Her friend's kitten pushing a cup off the table. When she looked back at Mufeng's smug grin, her anger inexplicably faded a little. People are always more forgiving toward fluffy things, especially since she was a total fluff enthusiast. Qin suppressed a smile and replied, "Sure," then turned and left. Jang Shia couldn't resist teasing. "This female's temper is really something. What you just did. I wanted to beat you to death." "And she actually smiled?" Mufeng scoffed, ignoring him, and shifted back to his beast form. Just thinking about that female coming to clean up later put him in a much better mood. He even dragged a chair to sit by the door. But when he saw Qin actually bringing a robot, his face instantly darkened. "You dare trick me?" Qin pressed her lips together, assuming an innocent expression. "What's wrong? I brought a robot to clean. Is there a problem?" Mufeng shot up from the chair, his massive wings stirring up wind inside the cell. As one of the 4 great noble families of the Empire, the sole heir of the Mu family, no one with any sense dared to provoke him. Even the previous warden, when he ordered them to pick up discarded food from the ground to eat, they didn't dare resist. Yet this female in front of him had the audacity to defy him so brazenly. His spiritual energy was on the verge of collapse from rage. and he could only glare furiously at the cleaning robot nearby. Lin Mo hadn't expected to anger Mu Feng this badly. She sighed, took a cloth from the robot, wiped the floor a couple of times, then left with the robot in tow. Seeing this, Mu Feng felt the pain in his head and chest ease slightly. Though that female had only put on a show with a few half-hearted wipes, at least she'd cleaned it herself. His dignity remained intact. Jang Shia found the whole scene amusing. He pressed the room's spine bell as well. Qin hadn't even warmed her seat on the chair before the alarm sounded, forcing her to rub her forehead in resignation. These high-ranking individuals really knew how to make trouble. No wonder the warden position had been such a lucky break for her. Remembering her own cannon fodder, disposable status, she resignedly stood up again. This time, however, she brought the robot along just in case, and returned to cell No. 4. Inside, the rabbit-like figure sat on his snow-carved throne. Like a child pretending to be an adult, so adorable it nearly made her nose bleed. Jang Shia noticed her gaze, feeling strangely unsettled inside. But he really didn't dislike Qin that much. Then let Robot No. 4 deliver the meal box. Qin took Itan glanced at it. Ate it all clean. No wonder he looks so chubby and adorable. A hint of amusement flickered in her eyes. She couldn't help but praise. So good. Finished everything. Jang Shia had been pondering how to tease this female. His fluffy round face instantly flushed red. What to do? This was the first female to ever praise him like this. Uncharacteristically shy, he used his paws to cover his big round face. This sight, falling into Qin's eyes, made her melt all over again. She could hardly resist charging in to aggressively pet and snuggle him. The last shred of reason made her painfully retract her mischief-ready hand. Turning, she walked toward the remaining 2 cells. On Yi Ming's pitch-black leopard face, not showing too much emotion. The red fox Yan Huoshui's lips seemed to curl slightly. She even gave her a flirtatious wink. Qin felt a bit dizzy and enchanted. Perhaps she had been single for too long. Even a fox looked charming and attractive to her now. She quickly shook her head. Remembering the anomaly in cell number 1, she decided to muster her courage and ask, Lord Han, do you know what happened to Han? Why has the room become like this? Yan Huoshui shook her head. Not good. She had a mental breakdown today. This time, it's quite severe. She even lost her rationality. Hearing this, Qin felt a pang of sympathy. Luckily, she didn't listen to Mu Feng and opened the door to clean inside. She learned that Han had been sent to the recovery pod by a robot. She paused for a moment before sighing. In the book, Han would indeed die soon. And in these final moments, the only thing she could do was probably to make his passing more comfortable. After all, the Han in the book was a noble and upright young major general who cared deeply for the people. In the time that followed, she didn't even think about the emergency bell. As lunchtime approached, Qin went to the kitchen and sampled a few types of meat. The taste wasn't particularly good. The robots had uniformly prepared the meat by stewing it, with no seasoning other than salt. In the kitchen, she found plenty of seasonings, vegetables, and side ingredients. Her eyes immediately lit up. After checking the time, she decided to make stir-fried pepper with clucker beast and simmer a quacker beast soup with some nourishing herbs added to it. Qin packed the meal boxes into her spatial pouch with satisfaction, then went to deliver meals to the officers on time. Han had already emerged from the recovery pod. He seemed unchanged at a glance, though the fur on his 2 front paws was slightly thinner. Qin offered a faint smile and asked with concern if General he was doing all right. Bai Shi nodded and thanked the warden for her concern. I'm fine now. That's good, Qin exhaled imperceptibly in relief, then took out 2 meal boxes. One was packed by the robots, and the other was made by her. It's like this? I thought since you just got injured, so I made you some more nutritious soup. Try it and see if it suits your taste. If you don't like it, just eat the cafeteria food." Upon hearing this, Han showed a hint of surprise in his eyes. Gazing into Kin's sincere and clear eyes, he thanked her softly, then opened the lunchbox. Inside were dishes he had never seen here before. His pink nose twitched slightly. "It smells great, I like it." Kin, hearing his gentle voice, felt inexplicably flustered. She couldn't help but recall the image of Han, dressed in black and gold military uniform on the Starnet. A stark contrast to his current tenderness. Perhaps annoyed by their sweet exchange, Mu Feng across from them flapped his wings forcefully. "Open the door already, stop talking. Are you trying to starve us to death?" At his words, Kin felt her brow twitch reflexively. She quickly turned and placed the meal at the window, then moved to the next room. Hearing Mu Feng's dissatisfied grumble, "Ugh, this crappy food again." Han quietly lowered his eyelids, a faint smile tugging at his lips. So, only he got something special. After delivering the meals, Kimu returned to eat her own food, still craving something sweet afterward. She placed the ingredients in the robot's food compartment, set the parameters, and in less than 5 minutes, a fragrant strawberry cream cake was ready. Kin took a bite, and her eyes lit up. The robot's cooking turned out luckier than the human-made one. She kept 7 for herself as an afternoon snack. The rest were meant for the big shots in the prison to try. She could also collect the meal boxes while at it. From Han, she retrieved 2 spotlessly clean lunchboxes. Kin felt a flicker of joy at being acknowledged. Seeing the big white lion lounging on the bed, lazily swishing its tail, she smiled faintly. Placing the small cakes at the meal delivery slot, she said, "Here's some dessert for you to try after your meal. If it's good, there'll be more next time." Hearing the word "you," Han realized this wasn't an exclusive treat for him. But he wasn't upset. Instead, he felt grateful that Kin remembered them. "Thank you, Warden. That's very thoughtful of you," he said. Then instructed the robot to carefully bring the cakes over. Kin tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear, slightly embarrassed. "My name is Kin. You can just call me by my name." With that, she headed to cell No. 2. This time, Mu Feng had also cleaned his plate. At her arrival, he snorted coldly again, clearly still holding a grudge over the morning's incident. Kin had no patience for his tantrums. She set down the cake, politely saying, "Here's some dessert after your meal," then left. Mu Feng was displeased. She only spoke one sentence to him, and didn't even praise him for finishing his food. Furious, he banged on the protective door again. Kin, already a few steps away, turned back to glance at him. "Fine, don't eat it if you don't want to." "Who said I didn't want to?" Mu Feng was afraid she would take the cake. He immediately turned back into human form and stuffed the cake into his mouth. Then he looked at her smugly. He silently counted the number of times they had spoken just now, barely managing to smooth his temper. Kin could only mutter under her breath, "How childish." Then she walked to cell No. 3. Yi Ming didn't say much, only offering a quiet thanks. After letting the robot take the cake, he disappeared back into the darkness. Kin withdrew her gaze and arrived outside cell number 4. Jang Shia had calmed down considerably. After taking the small cake, he curiously licked it, then couldn't help but look at her with those crystal clear eyes. Will there be more next time? Listening to his voice, Kin thought he was just a boy, after all, yet trapped in this confined space, waiting for death to come. Her heart softened inexplicably. Of course, there will be. She pulled out another one from her spatial pouch. Jang Shia's eyes instantly lit up, but realizing how uncool he must have looked just now, he silently turned around, pretending to be aloof as he let the robot take the cake, though his tail wagged like a happy puppy's, at a much faster pace than usual. Kin nearly melted at the sight. She decided to give everyone to each. Yan Huoshui found his reluctance amusing. "One is enough for me." I don't eat much sweets. Qin happily took one back. Then I'll make something less sweet for you to try next time. Thank you, Qin. Can I call you by your name directly? Yan Huoshui asked softly, her crimson eyes shimmering like flowing water as they shifted. Her low voice seemed to carry a hook, tugging at one's heart itchily. But Qin had already developed some resistance, snapping back to his senses quickly. This made Yan Huoshui's eyes flicker slightly, her gaze brimming with amusement. After hearing their conversation, Han called out to Qin as he passed by. Qin, the lunch you made today was delicious. I'm very full, so I can't finish this small cake. You take it. Hearing this, Qin happily took back another one. Nearby, Mu Feng muttered to himself. Since when did General he have such a small appetite? He didn't say anything aloud. And even when Qin glanced over, he swiftly stuffed the small cake into his mouth. Then, realizing what he'd done, his face flushed red instantly. He quickly shifted back to his beast form. Pretending to casually preen his feathers, Qin couldn't help but glance at him a few more times. Though Mu Feng could be annoying at times, his beast form was undeniably beautiful. After packing up the lunchbox, she left with ease. Returning to the warden's office, he took a nap on the lunch break bed. His dreams were filled with all kinds of mushrooms and tiny figures waving at him. After waking up, she decided to have mushroom soup for dinner. As dinner time approached, Qin arrived early at the kitchen pantry. After rummaging for a while, he found 3 types of mushrooms: shiitake, oyster, and enoki. He decided to make a mixed mushroom soup. He prepared a small portion of the extra enoki mushrooms as a cold side dish. He also stir-fried some greens while he was at it. Han noticed that once again, he was the only one with food made by her hands. A flicker of secret delight flashed through his eyes. Unable to hold back, he blurted out, "Thank you." Qin smiled at him. "It's nothing, don't mention it." Seeing that Qin was giving special treatment to his idol, Mu Feng didn't say much. He just felt a bit sulky inside. Yi Ming, as usual, remained unseen. Not even a word of thanks. Jang Shia cheerfully called out, "What delicious dessert did you make this time?" However, after his bright red tongue flicked out a meter high, he hesitated. "It's not sweet. I want the strawberry cake from lunch. It's gone this time. I'll bring you some next time." "Really? Can I request something else then?" Hearing this, Ki Mu pretended to think for a moment, before curling his lips and saying, "Sure. But only if you don't ring the bell for no reason and cause trouble." Jang Shia accepted her condition, then retorted unwillingly, "I only rang it once today." But under Ki Mu's knowing, half-smiling gaze, his confidence waned. His 2 fluffy ears drooped. Qin was once again utterly charmed by his appearance. She really wanted to go up and hug him, giving him a good rub. It must feel amazing. But she forcefully held herself back. Filled with regret, she headed to cell number 5. Upon hearing Jang Shia's voice, Yan Huoshui realized that these pastries were specially made for her by Qin. The noble 9-tailed fox slowly approached the protective door, lifting her head slightly to say thank you. Qin was stunned for a long moment after seeing this. Dazed, she felt as if she had suddenly leaped from a world of technology into a world of fantasy. She had actually seen a 9-tailed fox. Noticing this scene, Yan Huoshui had a fleeting glint of golden light in her eyes. After a full day of work, Qin felt the job wasn't as difficult as she had imagined. She was like a zookeeper, needing to carefully tend to the animals in her care. After dinner, she curled up in her office to binge watch dramas until it was almost time to clock out. Then she made another round through the prison, informing the few adults that she was about to leave for the day. Seeing that they had no further instructions, she happily took her leave. After she left, Yi Ming was the first to speak, signaling Jang Shia to release his innate ability. Jang Shia acknowledged with a sound, and soon after, a layer of ice slowly coated the robots in each cell. temporarily freezing them. Whenever Jang Shia needed to unleash his innate skill, it meant something major was about to be discussed. This is the contract they developed together while being imprisoned here. Yi Ming calmly stated, "I had my subordinates investigate. This female is an orphan. He doesn't belong to anyone." This time, coming to slander the celebrity was his own initiative for the job. It was a coincidence that led to his assignment here. Mental strength, F. Fertility value, 0. At present, he poses no risk whatsoever. Yan Huoshui let out a light laugh after hearing this. What a useless female. This female can resist my Fox clan's innate skill. Perhaps the information you saw, Your Highness the Crown Prince, was also fabricated by someone with ulterior motives. Upon hearing this, Jang Shia couldn't help but yell, "You damn male fox. How shameless of you to use such a skill on a female and still brag about it." Yan Huoshui's eyes flickered with amusement. "It's only been a day. Don't tell me you've already been bought over by her petty favors? Who knows? Maybe she's someone sent by certain people in the Empire to keep an eye on us. Or even poison us." Jang Shia couldn't argue with him. His face hidden under thick fur could only puff up in anger. Han's summary. Since we still can't confirm Qin's exact identity for now, everyone should stop deliberately giving him a hard time during this period. Turn a blind eye to him. It's all because of those prison wardens, who have some connections with certain people in the Empire, tasked with monitoring them. So even if Mu Feng and the others did some pretty awful things, he never said anything. But this time is different. Qin might be innocent, not to mention being a noble female of the Empire. The others had no further objections to this. Qin was completely unaware of what was happening here. After getting through the awkward unfamiliarity of her first day on the job, she gained a rough understanding of the people in the prison. The work ahead will be even more manageable. And I don't know if it's because he puts his heart into it every day. Here's some dessert for everyone after the meal. Their attitude towards her improved quite a bit. Just like that, a peaceful month passed by, till a jump ship landed on Black Star, welcoming Qin's first visitor since taking office. Curious, Qin walked towards the entrance. From afar, she spotted a very tall young man. Seeing her approach, he introduced himself politely. "Hello. Warden M. Li Yue, subordinate of His Highness the Crown Prince. I'm here to discuss a matter with him." Hearing this, Qin was somewhat surprised. Among the prisoners, she only knew Han's identity. Never expected a prince to be among them as well. Noticing her confusion, Li Yue added, "His Highness Yi Ming. Wait a moment, let me contact him first to ask." Qin entered the number 03 into the communicator. After obtaining Yi Ming's approval, he finally allowed the person to enter. After escorting Li Yue to the prison, she tactfully left. Li Yue greeted everyone in the prison, especially Han. "Has General He's health improved recently?" Han nodded. "Thanks for your concern, it's all right." His words carried no sense of forcing himself. Since the last episode of Mental Collapse, he had used the mental detector embedded in his chip to check. The collapse value had dropped from 89% to 88%. It was only a slight decrease. He didn't make a big deal out of it. However, Li Yue didn't fully believe him either. If the mental value was below 50%, magnetic soothing could still have an effect. But those sent here had collapse values, mostly exceeding 60%. Magnetic connection didn't even dare to approach, let alone provide soothing. When Yi Ming saw him arrive, he immediately had Jang Shia use the frost talent skill. Only then did Li Yue pull out a small vial of potion from inside his coat. This is the latest research potion. Dr. AI said it has a chance to reduce mental power by 10 points. But there's a 20% risk that it might worsen the mental collapse. Considering His Highness's mental collapse value is already very high, we didn't test it on volunteers first, but came to ask for His Highness's opinion instead. Yi Ming, as the Empire's crown prince, because his mental energy was exceptionally high. He had secretly established a research organization years ago, dedicated to studying mental energy collapse. Dr. AI was the chief professor among them, and Rio was the subordinate he assigned to handle such matters. Hearing this, Yi Ming's deep green eyes flashed with resolve. Give it to me, rather than waiting to die. It's better to take the initiative. That was just his nature. The conversation between the two was heard clearly throughout the entire prison. The others were deeply concerned, fighting over who would test the drug for him. A warmth flickered in Yi Ming's eyes. He knew they were trying to help him. But this was also the result of his careful consideration. Since Dr. AI had sent Li Ye to deliver the drug, it proved that this formula might be extremely difficult to reproduce in a short time. Han definitely couldn't take it. If his mental energy collapsed, it would only hasten his death. As for himself, he had at most a year left to live. Might as well gamble for a chance. If it worked, everyone would rejoice. If not, the three with lower mental energy than him could continue waiting for Dr. AI's research. With that thought, Yi Ming downed the drug in one gulp. While there were no immediate abnormalities, he once again submerged his body into darkness and instructed Li Ye to leave first, promising to contact him later. Soon after, his body began to burn, his blood boiling within, a stifled groan escaping his throat. Jang Shia, who was facing him, was the first to hear it. "Your Highness, what's wrong?" Mu Feng also looked tense. "What happened? Did it work?" Han's eyes showed concern. "This voice doesn't sound like Yan Huoshui." A whisper, "I'm afraid it's a mental breakdown." They hadn't expected that even a 20% chance would befall Yi Ming. Or perhaps the untested drug's risks were greater than Dr. AI had predicted. Inside cell number 3, Yi Ming's voice, initially muffled, turned into pained moans, growing clearer. Then, in the dark room, the sounds of collapse and shattering erupted endlessly, almost identical to the scene when Han had his episode. Before long, the Black Panther began slamming violently against the reinforced door, trying to find fleeting relief through self-harm. "Your Highness, wake up." Jang Shia tried to rouse him, but everyone knew a beast that has truly lost its senses is hard to awaken, unless it collapses immediately. For a moment, the prison fell into deathly silence again, save for the relentless thuds of the panther's ramming. Meanwhile, Qin was seeing Li Yue off, and from his mouth, learned many tales of the Crown Prince's heroism. Like how, at just 17, he led troops to raid a human trafficker's den and rescued over 200 abducted women. Yet Qin felt puzzled upon hearing this, because he distinctly remembered it was because the female lead had been trafficked. This caused the male lead, the second prince, to fly into a rage. He directly annihilated the organization behind it. How did it suddenly become the first prince's credit now? After sending Li Ye away, Qin pondered repeatedly, feeling a chill run down his spine. Both Yi Ming and the male lead's plotlines should exist, but perhaps Yi Ming died, leading to the subsequent events. The organization resurged, and the male lead destroyed them again. Now it seems, apart from Mu Feng, who can shapeshift, the others are almost certainly doomed. Even though they've only spent a month together, such an outcome is still lamentable and regrettable. Sigh, better stop thinking about it. Feels like my brain's about to grow. Qin felt his head itch a little. He shook it off. Rather than obsessing over this, might as well think about what to eat for dinner. With that thought, he went to the corner of the kitchen, where a green mushroom, previously tossed into the haystack, dizzily stood up, and then hopped toward the depths of the prison, following the scent. Inside the prison, the Black Panther's self-harm still hadn't stopped. Han narrowed his eyes sternly. Number 3, command. You will immediately use a legal means to knock His Highness unconscious. Upon hearing His Highness, Number 3 flickered rapidly twice. Then its mechanical eye immediately dimmed again. Mufeng stared at the butler robot in his cell and sneered, "They won't listen. The robots here have their primary directive hard-coded into their chips. Their own safety comes first." Han said to him, "Try to see if you can get out of jail." Mu Feng's stealth ability sometimes allows the protective doors to overlook him. But he gave it a try and helplessly returned to his original form. No good. Only between PM and AM will it work. Because that's when the security door undergoes its automatic upgrade and update. At this point, Han couldn't think of anything else. Everyone could only listen to the sound of impacts in low spirits. But the noise didn't last long. Before the sound of Black Panther collapsing was heard, Jang Shia hurriedly pressed close to the door, staring at the other side. He couldn't help rubbing his eyes. Did the Crown Prince bump his head and swell? Why was there a reddish patch? But when he blinked again, it was gone. Maybe his eyes were playing tricks on him. He didn't have the mind to overthink it. The others, called Robot Number 3, let him send Yi Mingto the treatment pod. Confirmed that the eldest prince is still alive. Ever inebriate the sigh of relief. Qin was delivering dinner when. Only then did I find out that Yi Ming also had a mental breakdown. He was holding a lunchbox, looking at the rarely lit room 3 inside. Now a messy wreck with no trace of its original state. My heart felt heavy. A mental breakdown. Once it happens, there will be a second time. It means death is drawing closer. Jang Shia in room 4 still didn't know the taste of sorrow, just staring eagerly at the lunchbox in Qin's hands. Qin was hungry. Anyway, the Crown Prince wasn't around. His meal might as well go to me. He knew today's food was made by Qin. Originally, he only cooked for General He. Jang Shia had always been envious and jealous. Now, it was finally their turn to enjoy this treat. Qin rolled his eyes in annoyance, but couldn't stay angry in his heart. Jang Shia was still young, but could no longer take human form. At this thought, he no longer had any intention of scheming. Just give him 2 lunchboxes to eat. Watching Jang Shia happily devour his meal, Qin genuinely felt the satisfaction of being a parent, feeding a child. Yet despite being starving before cooking, he now had no appetite at all. After returning, he barely managed a bowl of soup before giving up. Opening his wrist chip, he glanced at his personal account. His salary had already been deposited, plus a magnetic $2,000 new dollars. The subsidy actually exceeded 20,000. He was so happy he couldn't bring himself to blink for half the day. Finally deciding to reward himself with some snacks, Kimu frantically placed a huge order. After spending 1,000 new dollars, he noticed free shipping kicked in at 1,500. So he browsed the add-on items, picking and choosing. Then he spotted a yellow pet yarn ball and impulsively bought it, finally hitting the free shipping threshold. After finishing his shopping, Kimu made another trip to the prison, only to find the big Black Panther still hadn't been released. Han told him not to worry. Robot No. 3 confirmed Yi Ming was still alive. He might be out soon. Qin nodded. After spending a month together, even knowing the novel's ending was bleak, he didn't want the adults in prison to die. Lying in bed at night, he couldn't resist searching the Starnet. Mental collapse exceeding 50%. Is there still a way to cure it? Yet everyone's conclusion was certain death. Qin's heart sank as he read. He couldn't help but ask again, was there really no other way? With so many people in the Empire, were they just supposed to wait for death? Since the post involved highly reputable powerhouses, it quickly gained traction. The moment he posted it, many replied. One of them responded, if a female with extremely high spiritual power can be found, there might be a way. However, the threshold for a spiritual link was very high, meaning it had to be a deeply trusted partner with exceptionally strong spiritual power. Only then, under safe conditions, could the cure be attempted? And even then, success wasn't guaranteed. Kin pondered. This was indeed a difficult demand. He exhaled heavily and logged off the star network. Because of that, he missed one particular reply. Late at night, I once saw a case where a female with a plant-type spiritual body cured a powerhouse suffering from dual S-level spiritual collapse. So, maybe a female with a plant-type spiritual body could help? Had Kin seen this, he would have immediately thought the female lead in the novel had a plant-type spiritual body. Late at night, she dreamed again of a group of little green mushroom creatures. They stared at him and cried incessantly, their wails grating on his nerves. Keep crying, and I'll turn you all into soup. Get out of my dream already. Hearing this, the mushroom creatures finally stopped crying. Instead, it let out a faint protest. I don't taste good. Don't eat me unless you promise. Otherwise, I won't come out. Oh, you dare threaten me? Don't make me dream up a pot of boiling water right now. I'll throw all of you in. Kin was just bluffing. But then a massive hot pot actually appeared in his dream. A split pot. His eyes lit up. Staring at the little green mushroom creatures, he let out a devilish laugh. The mushroom beings were terrified out of their wits, vanishing without a trace in an instant. Then, Kin's head throbbed, and he woke from his dream. At the same time, the clear, pitiful sobbing of a child, about 4 or 5 years old, reached his ears. Startled, he bolted upright, only to see a glaringly green, palm-sized mushroom at the foot of his bed. He began to question his sanity. This thing looked just like the one from his dream. Could it really have come out of his dream? Kin couldn't help but rub his forehead. Stop crying. The green mushroom immediately held back its tears, awkwardly turning slightly to the side. Its whole body radiated deep resentment and grievance. Kin's voice softened. I won't eat you. Hearing this, the mushroom finally stopped, turning away from him. Seeing such human-like behavior, Kin found it amusing. Where did you come from? How did you get in my room? As soon as he spoke, a pitiful voice replied, Master, your psychic manifestation. Of course, I have to follow you. This voice comes from within the mind. Kin belatedly realized that crying sound just now also seemed to come from his mind. A spiritual entity? Do I, with an F-rank spiritual power, even have a spiritual entity? The mushroom unhappily retorted. Master's spiritual power is definitely not F-rank. But as for what rank it actually is, he didn't know either. Kin was momentarily speechless. But it wasn't that important anyway. He needed to go back to his beauty sleep, then find a place to stay. Just don't go crying in my dreams. As soon as he finished speaking, he heard the mushroom sobs again. Master still hasn't given me a name. Kin lay on the bed, closed his eyes. Then let's call you Little Poison. You look like a poisonous mushroom. Anyway, he was a little afraid to touch it. The next day, Kin Mu sat on the bed in a drowsy daze, still half asleep. Suddenly thought of something, opened my mouth and called out. In my mind, the sound response is very fast. Kin finally confirmed that last night wasn't a dream. He really has a mushroom spirit body. Although my own spiritual body, the appearance isn't as stunning as the female lead Snow Lotus, but purely green, chubby mushrooms are still quite cute. At this point, he let Xiao Du appear, can't help but grab his soft, squishy mushroom flesh. Pinched it a bit. Satisfied at last, he got out of bed. When Kin went to deliver breakfast, Yi Ming has already recovered. The room plunged into darkness once again. In prison, every day, the food Matabi the robot is meat. Kin would add some vegetables when making it himself. He made sandwiches for breakfast. Yi Ming tasted the food he had made with his own hands for the first time. You actually left vegetables in your bowl. Kin didn't expect Theliopard to be picky about its food. Couldn't help but remind when getting the lunchbox. A balanced diet of meat and vegetables is good for your health. especially since you just got injured not long ago. The big black panther didn't make a sound. Seems Toad protesting with silence. The one behind with a big appetite. Jang Shia snorted at Qin. Next time, give me the eldest prince's portion too. I'm not picky about food. I love everything you make. Qin was speechless. The prison meal portions are huge. Moreover, right now, not only have I eaten 2 sandwiches, there's still a lot of meat left. He was really afraid his stomach would burst. He looked at pitch black room 3. Just thinking if he doesn't like me. No need to bother next time. Yi Ming's voice was heard slowly saying, it's delicious. Next time I'll eat it. Hearing this, Qin was pleased. Didn't say anything more. Jang Shia, who overheard this from the side. Round and fluffy little head on top. Both ears drooped slightly. A pair of golden beasties revealed unmistakable regret. Qin saw it. Almost cold trestressed being charmed. Go make another portion for him. Fortunately, I managed to hold back. When leaving the prison, he passed by cell number 2. Took a quick glance. I don't know why. Recently, Mufeng seems to have become much quieter. At first, I still liked picking fights with Anlin. We don't talk much anymore. The inside of ORCs is very high. Mufeng noticed his gaze, awkwardly turned his head away. But I couldn't help straightening my back, displaying a slender and graceful curve. Seeing Qi Mo, the eyes clearly revealed a look of astonishment. The neck is raised even higher. Until the person leaves. Just twisted my neck and stretched my wings. Relax your body. Not long after, the package Qi Mo bought yesterday arrived. He returned to the office. Can't wait to start organizing my snacks. First, they took out a portion to distribute among the adults. As for that ball of yarn, he planned to give it to Jang Shia, who made the rabbit and the cat look so alike. Thinking this way, he immediately packed his things and went to the prison. I just had breakfast not long ago. The beasts were also busy with their own tasks at the moment. Considering the needs of adults in daily life, the prison's various facilities are all customized according to everyone's preferences. Jun's room has quite a few pieces of sports equipment. As a major general, daily exercise is a must. Mufeng is quite the beauty lover. There are quite a few mirrors in the room. And there's also a comb. The robot can groom its own fur. Occasionally he would read some mechanical books. Bored out of Mimond, so I took apart robot number 2 for fun. Yeming prefers to read in a dark environment. Keep an eye on the latest updates from Starnet from time to time. Jang Shia used to be a pamper-readying master from a wealthy family. Just eat well, drink well, and have fun. Then he prefers low-temperature environments. I like lying in the snow pile inside the prison. Yan Huoshui used to be a space pirate in the past. Nowadays, when a hobby free time, comfort is my top priority. Soak in the hot spring sand, pluck the flowers, do whatever feels good. Even so, day after day remains undeniably boring. Jiangxia rolled around in the snowdrift, sighed, really want to go out. I didn't think Summik about it before, but now he really wants to go out and play with Qin. Mu Feng. Seeing the few feathers I lost to the robot. I'm so pissed off. Given your current mental state, dream on. Jang Shia is not happy. Can't help but open Thekip and test it out. Breakdown level 68%. More than 2 years Agabi a few points. It's indeed impossible to leave this place. He immediately couldn't bother to argue with Mufeng anymore. Buried in the snow again. When a lonely palace's cat. At this very moment, the familiar sound of footsteps rang out. The rabbit immediately shook off the snowflakes from its body. Sitting on his ice and snow throne, Mufeng then hid the fallen feathers and comb. Qin walked in with a smile. Happy day wa giving everyone some fresh snacks today. Jang Shia couldn't sit still upon hearing this, peeking around at the protective door. What a pity, nothing was seen. Qin took snacks out of the spatial pushan, shared them with everyone. Han stepped down from the exercise equipment. Thank you for your thoughtfulness. His eyes were filled with tenderness and depth. Qin felt too embarrassed to look directly. In the blink of an eye, it was time to head to cell number 2. Mufeng looked at the bag of snacks. Can't help but ask what you bought on Xingwang. He shook his head slightly, his eyes glinting. No big deal. Qin walked up to Theodore of cell 3 again to hand over snacks. With a thank you lingering in the ear, he actually saw Yi Ming take the initiative. Tato walk up to the protective door. This is apart from the first time we met. Qin saw his appearance clearly for the second time. Massive body, paired with those emotionless green eyes. It still looks absolutely spine-chilling. Yi Ming seemed to notice his discomfort, with a long tail trailing behind. Silently disappear in Jinto the darkness again. Shi Mu secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Went to cell no. 4 again. Through the protective door. It's like seeing a chubby, adorable, and super cute cat. A crisp and melodious young voice rings out. Shi Mu, ya bought us snacks, huh? Haven't had it in a long time. Qin crouched down. The voice was softer compared to theirs. Not just snacks. Oh. I also bought you a little toy. Hearing the words, little toy, all the beasts in Theprison quietly pricked up their ears. Even Thenite light in the darkness is no exception. In terms of words or water, more like thelic of someone waiting to see a good show. Widening their eyes and staring intently. Toys. Me. I'm not a pet. Who even needs toys anymore? He is a mighty ORC. Absolutely cannot stand being treated like a pet. Qin swim gnashing his teeth in anger. Can't help but feel a little guilty. Clutching the freshly retrieved yarn ball, he kept apologizing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to treat you like a pet. I'll take it no, don't be mad, okay? As he spoke, he prepared to put the yarn ball back into the space pouch. Just mentioned it in passing. The yarn ball wobbled under the palm. I saw Jang Shia's head tilt a couple of times. Qin was curious, trying to lift the rope and move it again. Sure enough, Jang Shia's pupils contracted slightly. That expression. Clearly, just like Thecat at my friend's house. Seeing something that looks exactly the same as what I'm interested in. But Jang Shia didn't like it. Can't force it either. I could only regretfully put away the yarn ball. At this moment, Jang Shia, the pupils finally returned to normal again. Realizing too late what just happened. Actually got controlled by a tiny little ball of yarn. This absolutely cannot be. His claws unconsciously dug into the snow a couple of times. Thinking of that damn mess. He then said aggressively, it's just a tiny ball of yarn. I thought it was some kind of toy. Since you bought it, then I'll reluctantly accept it. He was determined to see for himself. What kind of magic does this ball of yarn have? Upon hearing this, Qin, suddenly, there was a bit more mischief. Pretending to be considerate, he said, it's fine. You don't like it? I'll just take it back then. There's no need to force adults. Seeing Jang Shia speeding up on the snowfield, he continued to reflect on himself. It's all my fault for no noticing your preferences, sir. I'll never take the liberty of buying the things again. Made you angry. Jang Shia was freaking out. The voice couldn't help but grow louder when speaking. I never said I didn't like it. Qin saw that. He was so angry and humiliated was practically digging up the ground. Finally stopped teasing him. Oh, so the boss likes it. Then I can rest easy. Throw Thayern ball through the small window. Jang Shia instinctively gave chase. But halfway through running, he pretended to be calm again. Walking towards his own's suit. Only the corner of my eye couldn't help but fixate on that toy. Until touchdown. Robot number 4 thought there was an extra piece of trash in the room. Then he conjured up cleaning tools to tidy up the place. Seeing this, Jang Shia, no longer caring about anything, run over quickly, holding Thayern ball in its mouth. Seeing Qin still at the door, feeling ashamed, he threw up again. cannonly vent the anger on the clueless robot. Fuck off, don't let me see you today. Number 4 coldly let out an O. Automatically find a corner to stand by. Young people sure have a temper. Qin shook his head helplessly. But seeing Jang Shia's tsundere attitude, I'm also very happy that the little toy I bought is well liked. He didn't linger any longer. Arrived at the entrance of cell 5. Passed the snacks in first. He took out the freshly picked pink Four Seasons flowers again this morning. Yan Huoshui's nose is delicate and elegant. The fox's eyes glimmered as they gazed at him. Thanks, it's delicious. It's so nice to listen to his deep, husky voice. Qin almost couldn't hold back. Than trembled and let go of the flower. Fortunately, after being put through the ringer by several adults, his self-control has greatly improved. No embarrassment, look at number 5. The robot signaled for him to come and take the flowers. But the robot always prioritizeth master's commands. Number 5 didn't move. The corners of Yan Huoshui's lips twitched. Let number 5 come over. He didn't continue top robe further. The wariness in Qin's eyes eased slightly. He still felt that this female was not simple. Actually kept a straight face. Won trust of several people in the prison. Although the person behind him hasn't been identified yet. But the person is right under your nose. Sooner or later, the true colors will show. At this thought, he suddenly felt the dull and monotonous prison life guy need a bit more excitement. After Qin finished delivering the items, then headed to the Warden's office again. It's time to turn back. I always feel like the gazes around me carry a hint of resentment. He glanced left and right. The white lion's head is facing inward. In the darkness, Yi Ming's eyes were invisible. Mu Feng glared at him. The mouth moved silently. Pressed the button to reinforce the protective door. Qin always felt that what he said was the word favoritism. But how is that possible? And why is he suddenly angry again for no reason? A man's heart is truly as unfathomably as the ocean. Qin shook his head. Thinking about all these snacks in my personal storage capsule. The return speed to the city has increased quite a bit. He left. The prison fell silent for a long while. No one said a word. Only silent breaths surged unseen in the air. At this moment, the sound of Jang Shia bouncing around could be heard. Tiny little ball of yarn, don't even think about running away. His throat involuntarily let out a voice brimming with joy. The paw presses on the yarn at the end of the ball. It makes his teeth itch with frustration. Can't help but lower my head and gently caress. Got carried away in the moment. The quiet prison was. Everywhere was filled with his joyful snoring. Mu Feng has already taken apart Robot Note 2 in 2 pieces. I can't take it anymore at this moment. So noisy, Jang Shia. Can you just be quiet for a bit? Jang Shia realized it belatedly after hearing it. My behavior just now was really embarrassing. Stealing a glance across the way. Inside the pitch-black prison, Yi Ming's pair of gleaming green eyes. Right on. The furry ball beneath its own claws. He instinctively shielded it like a protective apparent, tucking it beneath his belly. Then quietly changed the transparent product door into a reinforced one. To block the line of sight. At this moment, Yi Ming suddenly spoke up and told him to use the freezing skill. Upon hearing this, Jang Shia temporarily put away his playful mood. Zhao Xin hid the yarn ball under his ice and snow seat. Used to skill, Yi Ming looked at the prison robot. Established communications with Rio immediately. As soon as Rio picked up. Couldn't wait to ask how His Highness was doing. He's been in the lab all day today. Waiting for his reply with Dr. AI. Yi Ming stared at the chip test data. The tone carried a bit more lightness. Seems to be a bit effective. The breakdown value just changed from 73% to 72%. Hearing this, Ranzi's flickered slightly. Yet their AI remained utterly perplexed. Impossible. If my potion can really lower the collapse value, it can't be that little. Tell me everything about what happened after you drank the potion. Yi Ming then recounted the incident of his mental collapse. From beginning toned, recounted it all. Dr. A fell into deep thought after hearing this. Even if a mental breakdown occurs, but it can still lower the breakdown value a bit. This also seems like a potential solution. But at this moment, Han suddenly proposed a new perspective. Your Highness may not be due to the medicine. A while ago, I had a mental breakdown. The breakdown value has also dropped from 89% to 88%. I just thought it was an accident at the time, so I didn't say anything. Now, Your Highness has also lowered a bit. Things are just too much of a coincidence. Dr. AI refuted in shock. Impossible mental strength. After a breakdown, only grows. Impossible to lower. And the higher the mental breakdown value, the greater the risk of death. General, he's about to lose it. Still alive after a mental breakdown. Its very existence is a miracle. The prison fell silent for a moment. Obviously, everyone is still digesting such shocking news. Last, after agreeing to Dr. AI's proposal to extract writing samples from both individuals for research purposes, the communication has ended. Mu Fengkao didn't help but speak. Major General, has your mental breakdown level really gotten this severe? Before this, they don't know. Han's breakdown meter has already exceeded 80%. This kind of breakdown is worth it. Just have another tantrum. It's already so hard to keep living. Heron's expression remained unchanged. Relax, whether it's life or death. Let nature take its course. Yan Huoshui turned around and asked, are you sure you're okay with this? He Rong's expression froze. Think quickly flashed through my mind. Originally, he was indeed just muddling along like this. But now, it seems there's an extra weight on my heart compared to before. At the end of the term, he softly uttered this name. Gentle ice as calm as still water. Unknowingly, a bit more gray has crept in. He knows his current self, not the least bit willing to accept it. That night, Li Yi came again, first time strangers, second time friends. I saw Qin. He smiled and took out a gift box from the spatial pouch. As a welcome gift, Qin felt a bit embarrassed. I just couldn't resist Li Yi's persistence. He then thanked without further refusal. The two of them headed toward the prison together. Li Yi started chatting about everyday matters. Miss Qin has a very good temper. You must have quite a few admirers, right? His words came from the heart. The Impera has more males and fewer females. Females are placed on a pedestal. It's easy to become arrogant. Seeing the gift, they will first weigh the price. Just a look of Uraletsky to get this before taking it. No matter what, it won't be like Qin. Qin paused for a moment. Then he slowly explained that I don't have any psychic energy. Spirit of fertility. No male is interested. Li Yi heard this. Can't help but want to slap myself silly and shut my dim mouth. Why do you always ask things you shouldn't? He awkwardly laughed it off. Then comforted by seeing it's okay. If Miss Kinmo needs anything in the future, she can come to me. After female imperial subjects reach marriageable age, there will be quite a few mandatory requirements. She's mentally ill and doesn't need to go to the battlefield. Don't need a partner for comfort. And she doesn't really like kids. Thinking about it this way, Qin is a perfect fit. Seeing her puzzled expression, Rio also mentioned Miss Qin. Don't be too hard on yourself. You are a very good female. 2 meetings. He makes a very good impression. Especially last time when rushed home by spaceship overnight. He prepared that warm meal for her. Really thoughtful and considerate. If there were such a female as a partner, it should be a very happy thing, right? Qin still didn't quite understand what he meant. Just feel like the gift box in my hand is a bit of a hot potato. Fortunately, it didn't take long to reach the prison destination. He left quickly after dropping the person off. Li Yue didn't get a reply. A bit disappointed. While waiting for Yi Ming to get his blood drawn, he suddenly asked, Your Highness, Has Miss Chemo reached age for marriage? The White Lion and Black Panther getting their blood drawn. The front paw couldn't help but tremble slightly. The two of them looked at him simultaneously without prior agreement. Just listen to him ramble on about how Miss Kinmo is so great. If possible, I want to pursue her. Let her be my wife. Yi Ming looked down at the bright red blood in the blood collection tube. A moment of silence. Bai Shi's muscles tensed as he drew blood. Yet it was Mu Feng who couldn't sit still first. Li said, Qin is our warden. There are plenty of females out there. Can't keep up with you? Insisting on chasing after someone with zero fertility. Mental energy F. Wasteful Liu looked disapproving. Young Master Mu, that remark of yours is out of line. I don't give a damn about spiritual power. The ball of yarn in Jiangxia's mouth didn't seem tasty anymore. This female is nothing more than having slightly bigger eyes. The lips are a bit red. Has your skin gotten a bit fairer? Outside, this kind of female is everywhere. Li Yu shook his head at Zhang. Young master, you don't understand. Females are a lot. But someone as good as skin is hard to come by. Beauty is, after all, just an embellishment. He is very honest. Anyway, the adults here definitely wouldn't choose a useless person like Qin. Don't worry, they won't compete with him. As soon as these words were spoken, Jang Shia had no rebuttal. After all, he also thought Qin was great. But he just felt that Li Yi wasn't good enough for Qin. Then is your mental power very high? What makes you think Qinmo would even fancy you? Li Yui earnestly explained to young Master Zhang. Miss Qin's mental energy. I think it's a perfect match for someone like me, who's just average. And I didn't even think he necessarily likes me. So I plan to work hard to pursue her. After these words, the few people in the prison fell into silence. Regardless of the opponent's level of mental strength. At least it's better than being locked up in prison like them, right? Zhang Jiawas immediately left speechless. Just grinding teeth faster. Mu Feng's face darkened like still water. With inexplicable lemons, he cursed Li Yue fiercely. You should go get your eyes checked. Any female will do. After saying that, he firmly blocked the protective door. Out of sight, out of mind. Rio knows he's notorious lipoid and entitled. It didn't continue arguing with him. But continued Towich his own highness. Your highness, do you know what Miss Chemo likes? I wonder if she likes the bracelet I gave her today. The shop name bit down on the blood collection tube with its teeth. The gaze was cold and dark. Li Yue, the store hired you to work. Not here to pursue females. As Hespik handed the drawn blood to Li Yue. Don't come over until Dr. AI's medicine is ready. If there's anything, communicatability via messaging. Hearing that last sentence, Li Yu immediately looked disappointed. Wouldn't that take ages? I can't see Miss Qin anymore. He still wanted to sigh a few words. But was directly kicked out by Yi Ming. Fortunately, he left when successfully added Qinmo as a contact. And just like last time, Qin had prepared for him again. Eat up on the way back. Miss Mo, you're so kind. Qin gave an awkward smile. I thought this is the way of hospitality in Zhonghua, China, isn't it? Moreover, Liu even gave me a gift. Thinking of the expensive ink diamond bracelet inside the gift box. He was thinking Gabbit how to bring up returning it to him. The sound of a rapid bell rang out. This means if you can't get to the prison within 6 minutes, 100 star coins will be deducted every minute. Thinking of this, he didn't have time for small talk. After a hurried farewell, he immediately rushed to the prison without stopping. Finally arrived on time at the last minute. Just didn't expect it. This time it's the bell ringing. It was actually Yi Ming, who had never taken the initiative to reach out to him. His eyes, hidden in the darkness, were filled with worry. I quietly glanced at both of his wrists. Has Li Yue left yet? Qin thought he still had something left to say. Instantly became nervous. He just left. If you still have something to discuss with him, sir, it should still be possible to stop them now. Yi Ming heard this. His expression unconsciously relaxed. It's fine, since he's gone, just forget about it. I'll contact him again if anything comes up. Qin finally felt relieved after hearing this. He glanced at the time. I'm almost off work too. Is there anything else, adults? It was just a simple, polite remark. Didn't expect Mufeng to suddenly go crazy. Gotta have a glass of ice drink. The tone was still very aggressive. Speaking with a tone full of anger, Jiangaz immediately said he wanted a cup too. Even Yi Ming and said they wanted it. Seeing this, Qinmo was full of doubts. What's wrong with everyone? He hasn't mistreated them recently, has he? Big, still looking towards cell number 5. Ask if salt or water is needed. Anyway, 1 cup or 2, it's all the same work. 1 more cup won't hurt. Salt or water, Fox Eye is seductive. Smiling, hesitate. In that case, that's troublesome. Qin had no choice. I can only go to the kitchen again after work to make cold drinks for everyone. Fortunately, technology has freed up our hands. He thought of Mufeng's furious expression. Made a pot, herbal tea in 10 minutes. He distributed the prepared iced drinks to 5 people. Asked Mufeng again if he wanted a cup of herbal tea. Mufeng has never had herbal tea, but after drinking iced beverage, the anger hasn't cooled down one bit. Without a second thought, the others also said they wanted to, one after another. Qin thought of the taste of that herbal tea. My scalp can't help but tingle. 2 minutes later, Mufeng spat it out in one go. What the hell is this? So disgusting. Jang Shia also vomited a few times, straight up calling it bitter. Qin politely explained the herbal tea, a great remedy for dryness and heatiness. Is it bitter? You'll feel better after drinking it. Han and Yeming heard the effect. Without changing his expression, he finished the entire cup. Seeing this, Yan Huashui sniffed. Quietly pushed the unfinished herbal tea a bit further away. Chen also asked, Lord Yan, won't you try some? He calmly sipped his iced drink. Shaking my head, I'm not like some people. There's not so much anger in my stomach. Although Qinmo didn't understand why, but can't stop thinking about clocking out. Then he didn't linger any longer. After Helift, Yan Huoshui let out a sigh. I thought, this female just gained your trust. Now, it seems that's not all. Even the crown prince and general, he lost their composure. Upon hearing this, Mufeng, a look of utter disbelief. What does he mean by that? Could it be that general he and the crown prince also? Yi Ming frowned. You're overthinking it. It's just that the weather has been hot lately. Han was silent for a moment. I only swim as the prison warden. Yan Huoshui smiled and said, if you believe that yourselves, then sure. Just a reminder for you guys. He absolutely cannot be just some ordinary loser. The water behind it might be deeper than imagined. No one responded to this, but it stirred Yupa's storm in their hearts. After a long while, Han finally spoke in a hoarse voice. My mental breakdown meter is so high right now. He was no longer the young general Wokald rally the masses with a single call. What's in it for me? I even hope that can genuinely feel some regret for him. If not for work reasons, he's definitely not coming to the prison. Nor will they only see themselves. He Huan's words struck a deep chord in everyone's hearts. Now, they are silently waiting for death. Is there really anything worth going to such great lengths for? What you desire to obtain. The next day, Qin started it up again. The joy of petting mushrooms every morning. But he was puzzled to find. Mushroom's body seems to have gotten a bit smaller. The little poison comfortably lay in its master's palm. Master, don't worry. I shared some seeds out. It's a bit small for now. Wait to receive more nutrition next. It will grow bigger again. Qin didn't understand what the seeds were for. Where does nutrition come from? Seeds are similar to the branches of a tree. Nutrition is the toxin of mental energy. You'll find out when the time comes, master. Little poison is being all mysterious. Qin was left utterly confused. However, the next day, this matter is now settled.